Oh, I forgot to change the stream elements thing, so it'll probably come and annoy us. That's fine. Let me just get... Yeah, no, I just have some time to stream, but I don't have any plans. So here I am! And if, you know, because this isn't the normal time I stream, I imagine no one who usually watches me is expecting me to be here. So I will just go about whatever I would otherwise do right now. I'm so cold. But if anyone wants to chat, feel free. Cause, yeah, I got nothing. I'm just gonna confuse everyone who's used to my routines being, yeah, not this. Just, yeah, parents have gone out. I don't know how long they're gonna be out for. The dog is napping. Oh, what a busy morning, what a busy week. Today things start to finally chill out, but I think the afternoon, things haven't quite lined up well enough for me to, yeah, get a few other things sorted. So since I don't really have much else to do, I thought I would just hang out. What's going on here? Yeah. So also I've got like, there's so much stuff all over my desk, like, you know, just as I cleaned up stuff, then I went and bought more stuff because it was my birthday on Saturday, went shopping yesterday to spend as many coupons as possible, happened across a sale, ended up with more stuff. I guess, you know, there'll be people will watch in the replay. So one thing I did get, new glasses. Let me get them on. Maybe I would, like, you know, usually I do a separate video for it, but since I don't know what I'm doing today, yeah, we got the new glasses, kind of similar, but black. And not as, like, you know, these ones are getting dodgy. I've got the same prescription as these ones, just these are much clearer because they haven't been scratched up. And one thing that's kind of cool, so, like, this case is, like, triangle, right? But the fun thing is, if you pull this bit out, you can fold it like flat and just put it in your bag without it taking up heaps of space. Like, that's really clever. It's not perfect, but it's clever. It's better than having to carry a triangle or even like a square like the old ones. I like that Own Days is constantly thinking about that stuff. Hey! Where's Ali? Where's my... I've got to make sure my chat is up here. Hey, how's it going? I have no plans for today's live stream, so if anyone wants to chat about anything in particular, you know, go for it. Disclaimer, because we're vertical and I have no idea who turns up to these things. Yeah, if anyone is just here to troll, I don't have patience for that and I do block people. So, yeah, try and keep things civil and appropriate. But otherwise, we can chat about stuff. I'm pretty open about my mental health, for example. And, yeah, I don't know exactly how much time I have, but otherwise I was just going to clean up my desk and... I don't know, put away some things. A little bit hard since I would have to hold the phone and... Hey! Who have we got? Elvia Hernandez. Yeah, hi, I'm guessing... Oh, hello, Darker Waters! Someone I recognize. Just as I'm going to bed, you Aussies in your Aussie time zone. Yeah. Pew pew, I'm from Australia, Sydney, Australia. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Are there any Aussies watching? It's like Monday at 11, probably not. Yeah, no, like, if you... I know this isn't the usual time that I stream, so I'm sorry. But I guess, like, for people who are in a time zone that this is better for, now's your chance! Unplanned, it's just like... I thought I was supposed to be going out. Go the Aussies! Oh, wait, we've got an Aussie! Luke Summers. Yeah. It's your birthday! Happy birthday! No worries, yeah, no, it was my birthday on Saturday. And so I was out spending all my coupons yesterday with a friend. What's today? Tuesday? Today's Tuesday, isn't it? Yeah. So it's kind of like, I don't know, a random time. Yeah, oh, and sales. Oh my god, I can show you some of the stuff. So, like, apart from the glasses. Because I had a coupon. Hey, who have we got? Oh, my brain almost misread it as Faith, but it's Fat. Oh, hello from Orlando. I missed that message. Pew pew. Yeah, no. I got as well. Oh, sorry, it'll be backwards because it's vertical. But like, so this one is Japanese myths and tales, and I for an Aussie myself, a great, clear, strong Aussie accent. I do I? The only time I've ever been able to hear my accent is I spent a month in Japan, mostly speaking like bad Japanese and broken English, because my aunt, like my Japanese sucks and her English sucks, but we can kind of talk a little bit. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And then I've also got this one. This is the Chinese one. So I have Japanese and Chinese, and it's like kind of cool how they're opposites. But yeah, no, when I was in Japan for a month, and so I was just talking to my aunt mostly, broken English, dodgy Japanese, and then when I came home, and you know, in the airport, you have to talk to people, and like Aussie airport, oh my God, it's so different after being in Japan where everything is so polite, and then the Aussie customs people, they just didn't give a shit, and yeah, when I started speaking in Australia again, then I heard my accent and I was like, oh my God, I sound, no, is that how I sound really? That was a bit of a shock. So thankfully, after a while, I stopped hearing my accent again. And I don't really want to experience that again because it just, I was like, oh my God, yeah, I sound real Aussie. Fuck. Yeah. But like there are a few different Aussie accents actually. And so mine is probably, I mean, you know, middle of Sydney kind of accent. But if you go to the outback or Queensland in particular has an accent. And then there's like the more posh Aussie accent, which is trying to be British but not quite British. I don't know how else to describe it. Yeah, so I have that sort of like in between Aussie accent, I think, rather than the full on, you know, beauty mate, how's it going? That sort of one. Darwin, a bogan. Yeah. Um, yeah, I've mostly only been to, I think I've really only done East Coast Australia. So like I've been to Queensland. I haven't been to Victoria. I've been to Queensland. Um, and I've been to Tasmania. I never actually did that vlog that I did on that cruise like 2018. That video is just probably never gonna come out. Well, we got Dr. Phil had, huh? What is Croc filming? What? I don't understand that comment. Okay, that's a confusing comment. Sorry, I don't quite get what you're going for there. Yeah, no, what else is going on? Things are, I'm so tired, so if it takes me a while to even think of what I'm saying, that's part of it. Sleep it's been better the last 2 days. I've been able to get like a good 5 hour chunk, but then, yeah, struggling. But it's better than being woken up after 3 hours and then hardly getting back to sleep after that. So, but yeah, from today, I think my life starts to settle down. Oh, trying to look, oh, okay, you're just, generating nonsense sentences, whatever. We can ignore that. But if you keep going, I may have to block you just for my own sanity, which I don't have much left of. I do have mental illness, so. Tassie, favorite place in Oz? Hate the heat. Yeah. Oh my God! Max. Yeah, so there actually are some Aussies. I wasn't sure because, like, I mean, I guess there are people who don't do the usual 9 to 5 thing. But yeah, it's not exactly, I don't know. I need to blow my nose. It's like, even though it's still winter technically, there's already like things with coming out with flowers. I think my hay fever, like all the meds that I take for hay fever is just struggling. Oh dear, it's just constant. I'm so tired of it. Um, and I can't take like the hardcore meds or anything. So just nasal sprays and kids Dimetap. Otherwise, I get depressed if I take, like, what was it? Claritine's the one that really messed me up. So yeah, on top of being tired, I'm sniffly. At least I got over being sick, and the mouth ulcers are mostly gone. And what? Fell for what? Fell for nonsense? Like, I don't know what you're trying to do. From Sydney. Oh, yeah. So Sydney, If you're into, oh, I don't know who's into my music, but yeah, I'm a musician, sort of industrial, whatever. I'm gonna need another bloody tissue. And I've got a gig coming up in October, 12th of October. Oh my gosh! So there's this thing that there's this Q&A thing finally generated a sticker for us. This is the thing that I've been trying to test for a while. So yeah, most boring superpower. If anyone wants to, there it goes. If anyone's on mobile and you can see the sticker, most boring superpower, go ahead and chuck that in the comments because I had no plans for this live stream. So if you wanna, or we can do what YouTube wants us to talk about. But yeah, no, on October 12th, I'm playing at Crowbar in Leichhardt. It's a Sunday. I'm on at around 5 p.m. Gonna do my industrial music, and I think I can just chuck in the chat if you want to check out my music. It's weird. It's different. People are gonna be like, "What the heck is happening?" There we go. Stream Elements bot. Hopefully that link works. Oh. Yeah, and I finally started singing lessons again to like get ready for it. But yeah, YouTube wants to know what's the most boring superpower. I have not thought about this question, so I don't really know what to do with it. Most boring superpower. Like, I don't even watch superhero movies. Like, there was a point where, you know, with all the Marvel stuff, like, even when Marvel was in its heyday, weather control. But like, what if you went for really extreme weather? Like that, if it was just like whether it's sunny or rainy, yeah, that's a bit boring. But if you could really mess things up, although I suppose you would need a reason, like if you just made it snow in the middle of Sydney, that'd be weird, but know the future? Yeah. Well, I mean, with future sight, are we like, does that mean that future is definitely going to happen? And you can't change it. You just know what's going to happen, but you can't actually tell it. I think there's probably like a Greek tragedy or something about that. You know, there's probably some mythology, I can't remember which, where someone was given the gift of foresight, but no one would believe them, and so they couldn't avert any disasters. I can't remember who that is. I think it's Greek. If you know, you know. Or if you could know the future but still change it. You can't change it. Not like the morning. I don't know that show, but am I a storyteller? I'm not. Well, I tell stories about my life, I guess. So like I'm not like a proper YouTuber. I just do random stuff when I'm bored or when I have something to say. So sometimes, you know, I'll talk about my mental health, what's going on in my life. I guess with some of my lyrics and my music, I might be telling a bit of a story, but like I'm not really a storyteller as a thing. I just like ramble. Yeah, my channel is chaotic, and a lot of the time my dog is taking over my channel these days. I'm just gonna turn off my heater now that I've finally warmed up a bit. Yeah, and then what? I do music, so sometimes I post music, like my videos. I do covers sometimes. I do my own performances. Occasionally I've done fashion videos, gothic fashion. I know I'm in lazy clothes right now. Especially like when I'm at home with my dog. Early edition, whatever it was called. You get the next day's newspaper one day early, read it and try and say, oh, yeah, that's kind of messed up. Hey, I've been scrolling random live streams for about 30 minutes and your stream is the first that's stopped me for longer than 10 minutes. Oh, okay, yeah, cool. I have no idea how this actually works. It's just like, YouTube's like, hey, you should do vertical live streams. And I'm like, okay. And we should try this sticker thing. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. It's like I'm not a proper YouTuber at all, and there's no polish, there's generally no planning. Like I have ideas for videos I want to make, I just like, it takes me a while to get around to them, and then sometimes I forget that I was going to do them. So like I still have on my desktop, you know, there was something I wanted to talk about with Animorphs. I'm gonna have to go back and actually look at it, like some kind of fan theory I had. But then my life kind of got a bit crazy. So I have a brother who's got disabilities, and it was just um, not to superhero. You're into horse racing? I don't know a huge amount about horse racing, but it's been a long time since I rode a horse, and I think the last time it was physically difficult because I'm just not fit. Although my dog is trying to get me fit. He took me on a really long walk, and like they seem to get longer. He likes to wander in different directions and sort of gets a bit cross if I tell him we can't go a particular way. But he's actually been really good for my fitness, getting me to go gradually and gradually further. So the other thing that I do is, especially when I'm live streaming and chat comes up, I will jump between idea to idea and forget what I was talking about. So if I was meant to be, if I was like in the middle of answering one of your comments and then got sidetracked, just chuck another comment in the chat so that I remember to get back to whatever I was meant to be talking about, because yeah, I'm easily distracted and I do forget. And yeah, I don't have plans when I do this stuff. I just come online, and because I have the house to myself at the moment, and my computer. Oh, horses. Oh, Heroes was a fun show. Wow, I'm so tired. I can't read. Heroes was a fun show, seeing their superpowers and how some of them evolved. Yeah, I liked Heroes. Just wondering what other chat you're reading off. Oh, okay, so I've got my phone here, and then I've got my computer, because like on the phone, it only gives me like that much, um, of your comments, so then I can see it more easily on my computer screen. But if we need to move rooms or whatever, or go see my dog, I can just take my phone away. Yeah, so sorry, I am looking off to the side just to sometimes see the chat a bit more easily. But yeah, no, Heroes was good fun, although they did have issues with, back then there was one of those writers' strikes, and so there's like, I think around season 3 maybe it got a bit wonky. I haven't watched the newer Heroes though. I've only got like, I've got me my collection of stuff, and so I've only got the first 4 Heroes seasons, I think. Yeah, but Silo was a lot of fun. When Heroes came back, I just never got around to watching it. And yeah, I don't really do streaming. Like, I don't watch streaming services like Netflix. I think my parents do have some subscriptions, but I'm not a fan of the whole streaming thing. And I'm also, like, I prefer to have my DVD collections, but also these days, I just get distracted and do a lot of different things, and I'm not very good at binge watching. So my regular viewers will know I had this box set of Xena, and there's so many episodes of that. It took me so long to get through it, because like usually I might watch 1 episode a day at most, like sometimes 2 if I can fit it in. But yeah, I used to be able to binge watch, and now I can't. I think nowadays I feel like I'm wasting my time. But then I just go and watch a bunch of YouTube videos about like some kind of cave exploring gone wrong, and waste my time anyway. But since I quit Neopets, I have gotten a bit much better time management. Let me just get rid of this boring superpower thing, because I have gone on a complete tangent. Yeah, once I quit Neopets, like I've gotten into a better routine, although the past couple of weeks have been such chaos, it's kind of gone out of window. But I've been trying to alternate what days I do my visual arts versus my music. And that's helped a lot, and I've been a lot more productive not doing Neopets, because what I would do is I would have, whoa, what is that username? It's like like sort of like, is that like, is a grumpy face and question mark? Yeah, well, I'm the one with the question mark now. I don't know what's happening. My live stream, if you're wondering, is just completely random. I have no plans for it. I'm just here existing. So yeah, this is chaos. It's not meant to be anything profound or whatever. What was I saying? See, I can't even remember what I was just talking about. Oh my God. I'm so easily distracted in that way. Oh, my creative routines. Yeah, no, for a while what I was doing, like I would split my screen on my desktop, and I would have YouTube running on one half of my screen and Neopets games on the other half, and just waste so much time that way. When I was really, really badly depressed for a long period of time, that did help me like pass the time, so at least I'd survive to the next day. But I'm trying to do better than that. So yeah, getting back into art and music. Naturally stoned. You're not the first person to say that. Like one guy I dated who was into like weed and whatever, he commented on like some of the music that I listen to tends to be the kind of music that people who do weed are into, and I'm just like, hi, smart battle. And you sounds nice. Yeah, I'm from Australia, by the way. I don't know where everyone's from, but yeah, I have accent. Oh, hey, we've got another sticker to try. Fictional character you trust? What? What are these questions? If you're on a phone and you can see that, what's a fictional character you'd trust? Um, uh, I don't know, like off the top of my head, just because like I was watching one of those clips. There's a channel on YouTube that does lots of Dr. House, House MD clips, and I'd probably trust House. Is yeah, he's grumpy, although he tends to do a lot of tests and makes things a lot worse before he solves your illness, so maybe not. Captain Underpants. I don't actually know who Captain Underpants is. That's another thing. I'm culturally just like I live in a cave, basically. So I don't know a lot of stuff, especially because I don't do streaming. Like both movies and songs. I prefer physical media. What's happening? What's happening? Dopamine detox helps bring productive. Deleted most social media, just complete waste of time. Same for TikToks, YouTube Shorts, runs attention span. Um, yeah, the dopamine detox thing, it's more complicated than they tend to say, and also Stream Elements bot telling me you to buy my merch. I'm not wearing Fade, I'm wearing the truth. Ned Stark from Game of Thrones. See, the trouble with these stickers is I don't know enough cultural stuff to even know. I haven't actually watched Game of Thrones. The Australians have different accents because sometimes when I hear it, my ear bleeds. But oh, thank you. Yeah, no, there are different. I mentioned earlier in the stream. There are different Australian accents. So I'm kind of like the middle of the city, Sydney especially. Queensland definitely has a different accent, and the further into the outback, you're like, yeah, beauty mate, nah, kind of thing. But then you've got also the people who do the real proper, almost British. Do they call it like cultivated accent or something? I don't know. But there are a few different Aussie accents. Yeah, no, the dopamine thing. Just like when there are these trends to do with dopamine detox, or especially when someone puts the word detox in, take it with a grain of salt because they're probably trying to sell you something. And yeah, people like to simplify a lot. Things in life are generally more complicated. I know it helps to simplify things so that it's easier to understand and digest, but quite often, like when you actually dig into it, there's more going on, and people have, cherry-picked evidence. And then sometimes there are things that we think that this might be the case, but then in a few more years we do more science and we realize, oh, actually we got something wrong or it was slightly off. So yeah, but social media, yeah, you have to be kind of smart about how you use social media. I don't think it's completely terrible, but most people are using it in a terrible way. And I know some people are just, there's a lack of self-awareness in the way some people use social media, and like, fictional character you trust, probably not the kind of conversation we're into here. I feel like things tend to be simple but difficult. Quitting a habit is simple. Just don't be hard. Yeah, see, the thing is, you can have a goal intellectually, but we're not purely intellectual animals. Wondering how much the YouTube ID stuff is. Look, because it's going to affect us. So my channel is at least 16 years old, so my channel could watch YouTube. It's so old. But also because I'm monetized, I think I had to give YouTube or Google my ID at some point anyway. So they already know about me. I think my channel will be fine. Even though I tend to look younger than I am. I'm pretty sure I look over 16 by now, so I should be okay. Not sure about everyone else. Yeah. But yeah, back to the thing about habits. Yeah, we're not just a purely... Sorry, my computer's just saying, hey! Oh, so I've just got a delivery. That's okay. It should be fine. Those guys actually deliver properly instead of Aramex, who are garbage. Aramex are so slow, and then they leave it in places that are not great. Australia Post, at least in my area, is much better. But anyway, sorry, I got sidetracked again with Habits. We are not a purely intellectual species. It's easy for us to think that because that's how we tend to, I don't know, try and engage with the world, but we're actually, an emotional and instinctive species as well. And the intellectual stuff is a very late part of our evolution. And so when we come in and we think we can just logic our way out of our problems, it doesn't actually work like that. And it's taken me a long time to figure that out. Especially, my parents are finance types, a bit utilitarian, and I've had that view for a long time. But hey, I'm getting excited seeing people that are my regulars. Yeah, no, we're just rambling about whatever. So, if you feel free to chuck anything in the chat. I'm just rambling about habits at the moment, and yeah, we're not a purely intellectual species. And I keep using this example, right? Ben Shapiro, and he's always like, yeah, facts don't care about your feelings. Sure, but feelings also don't care about facts. I'm sure you've seen that in so many people. Like once people are attached to something, it can be very hard to be like, hey, logically, is that the healthiest thing to be attached to? And the more you try and rip it away from them, the harder they cling to it. So, that's why on the internet arguments just don't go well because people are clinging to what they feel is right instead of using the logic part. And that's because feelings are so much stronger than the logic. Yeah. So, I mean, it's hard to be patient. Yeah. It's hard to be patient with people and knowing that because also you have your own biases that you may not be able to see. And so the world is so complicated, and that's why I can't do politics because watching people argue, like I can see bits and pieces from either side, but also people tend to get very like invested and emotional in their side, and it's just like no one's going to budge, especially the extremists on either side. It's like calm down, calm down. There's a middle ground, there's some nuance, but no one wants to hear that. Which is unfortunate. Like outrage as well sells. Like, see, when you look at social media and the things that get views and get success, playing on people's emotions is what works. You get your outrage, and then people are like, and then engagement and social media, the algorithms are all about grabbing your attention that way. More of the religious type feel a lot of religious doctrine is all about suppressing negative emotions and doing what's right. Ben Shapiro is quite religious. What's Yodge 6? Rage bait? Look good? Me? My hair is a little bit more crazy today, but actually my hair's been a bit more under control since I've used these freebie products. It's just, yeah, but I am going to do something with my hair before this performance. So you're the religious type as in you support religion? Random for sure. Yes, very random. We're very random here. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just existing and reading chat. Yeah, I can't tell. Bradley, I can't tell with that. You're a Christian. Okay. Yeah, look, it's sort of like with some of this suppressing negative emotions or like feeling nothing, like the Buddhist thing, feeling nothing or having no attachments. Maybe it's not quite feeling nothing, but having no attachments. I found that idea not healthy for me. I have schizoid personality disorder. I've done a lot of work to get where I am. We're not talking a stream. Yeah, I just jumped on because I had some time. And I won't have time later, so here we are. Yeah, no, with the Buddhist idea of not having attachments, for me as a schizoid, I do have videos about it. You can look at my channel later if you want to see that, but yeah, I don't have strong emotions, and I have depression, so I have more negative emotions, but I don't feel a lot about attachment to the world and it sort of makes it hard to find reasons to live. I don't want to get too morbid, but it does. And having no attachments, I think there's a difference between healthy attachments and unhealthy attachments. So sometimes those religions, they're trying to achieve something good in terms of making sure you don't have unhealthy attachments, but there's not that nuance in what is a healthy attachment. So I've had to do a lot of work, with therapy and getting through some of this unfeelingness, utilitarianness that I've naturally got, or unnaturally, because I think schizoid for me came about because of sort of emotional trauma. I have a disabled brother, blah, 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 blah. I've rambled about it before. One thing that I've been doing is sensory therapy. So, I've got this I don't know if you can see it. I've got this huge stash of perfumes over there somewhere. Um, and just like learning to kind of enjoy the sense of that. And yeah, I need more attachments. Like some of the, Buddhism's the one that kind of makes me go, "Meh." um, can you really reach a point where you don't have attachment? Well, yeah, like, but in a mental illness sense, like, anhedonia, apathy, these are kind of symptoms of depression usually, or schizoid. Schizoid doesn't necessarily come with depression, and schizoids who have depression experience that depression differently to how other people with depression experience it. Giving meaning to your life beyond yourself, have a family as well makes it much easier. Yeah. That's the thing, like, that what you're talking about with family, that goes into more deeper evolutionary instinctive things. Like we are a social species. It was so important to our evolution. Um, so, the family stuff, that is like instinctively what we're biologically wired to do. But because I have this mental illness, I don't feel like a lot of that relationship kind of stuff, which is really not actually healthy. And it's taken me a while to like even admit that because the schizoid thing is like, no, I don't need anyone ever. But when I think through it logically, I'm like, yeah, okay. So there is, like I was saying before, there is a mismatch between my logic and emotions. Like, logically, I know we're a social species. I should socialize more. But a lot of the time, I just don't want to because people are like, meh. People are not great. I haven't been able to misanthropy. I'm trying not to be like that. Um, and I've made a lot of good progress, and my dog is helping me. This current dog that I've got, he likes to go into all the shops, and then I get talking to people. People get to know me, and people are actually really nice, and then it challenges my views of what people are like. Um, yeah, and I think the internet can give you distorted ideas of how people are because there's so much arguing going on. It's like, calm down. The right people find you. You don't need 1,000, you just need the right few. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Although the right people find you, not necessarily true if you hide away. You have to actually put yourself out there to have a chance of finding the right people. In my case, yeah, online, but also through music. Music is probably one of the other things that gets me out of the house. Because, yeah, I don't have strong emotions, but I can experience catharsis from music, and I think that's how I coped with a lot of things in childhood, because I wasn't really allowed to express a lot, but with the music, I can get it out of me. I feel as if people live in a different world, can't understand. I don't like to interact with them. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, deep down, we're a social species, so you kind of do need it, but it is hard to find your tribe, I guess, but without becoming too much of an echo chamber. Common interests. Yeah. Well, also for me with the music, like it just gets me out of the house. Then I meet people. Um, but when I'm out with my dog, like I'm just meeting people who are local. And I don't know that I have a lot in common with them because I live in a more conservative area of Sydney. But I do the heavy metal stuff. I know I'm not dressed up now because I can't be bothered. But like, here's my shirt. It's got the little cyber goth kinds of stuff. Um, yeah. So like, I don't know how much I have in common with people around here. I am part of the local artists group. I probably have more in common with them just being creative, but in America, going to bed, Disney days. Yeah, it's midday here, and I know, yeah, if you're in a different time zone, if you need to go to bed or if you need to go to work, like, feel free, you got to do your life. I'm just randomly here online. There will always be the replays if you want to catch up on whatever we got up to next, but it is pretty random. So, yeah. No, definitely get on with whatever you need to do. I don't usually stream at this time of day. It's just, yeah, I happen to have the place to myself. I just don't know how long for. Um, so yeah. And again, if I was talking about something and forgot to pick up the thread again, do remind me, because I do get all over the place. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Um, and I've been so busy because, it was my birthday on Saturday, and then I had a migraine on Sunday, and, things around here have not been great. And I took my migraine meds on Sunday, and I think that was a mistake. long-time viewers would know that I don't react well to medications in general, so I have to be very careful. But I enjoy this type of random, this type of random. Yeah, yeah, no worries. Thank you. Happy birthday. Yes, thank you. Yeah, no, that when talking about the randomness, we need more human stuff, I think, on YouTube. And like, why don't I contribute? I mean, I would still be doing it regardless of AI anyway. But if YouTube and just the online world is going to become more and more full of polished bots, I am the contribution against that. I would change my profile picture to a Clippy, except that I've got my own stuff to put out there. I don't know if there's a way that I can clipify my. If you don't know the Clippy thing, Lewis Rossman, you should watch his rants against the way that consumers are mistreated and all this. Like, I'm so tired of the AI thing. Because like to me, it's not what I thought of AI when I was growing up. I was a bit of a nerd growing up, and I was, yeah, the Clippy thing, yeah. Lewis Rossman, I'm pretty sure, started that because he's like, these days the AIs, they want all your data and they're intrusive. Whereas Clippy, like, would pop up randomly, but he was just trying to help. He wasn't trying to steal your data. He wasn't trying to, like, take over your life or, take away your rights or anything. So Lewis Rossman is like, yeah, change your profile picture to a Clippy as sort of like, those were simpler days. We want to go back to that. Clippy was annoying at the time, but he wasn't like what things are like today and the erosion of consumer rights, not really having a right to repair. Grantfield, yes. Clippy. Clippy's fun. I liked Clippy. He wasn't very useful, but I still liked him. I mean, I was a kid then, so it was kind of a novelty thing. But yeah, Lewis Rossman, he does a lot of good work. And then it's not just about changing your profile picture. They also have a consumer rights wiki. So if you come across a company who is doing some kind of bullshit, never experienced Clippy myself. Oh, yeah, like, if you go away and have a look at like what Clippy was compared to the AIs today, just like, oh, dead internet theory and all that. Clippy was cute. Clippy was from an innocent time in tech. Like modern tech, I'm so unhappy with the way that tech is going. And just like so much in general. I'm not really like, I don't really do the politics and so on, but like when people mention the phrase end stage capitalism, I'm like, you know what, they might have a point. Had no idea what he was every time he came up, stop and watch him. Yeah, but you could also change Clippy into different characters, and so we'd play with that as kids as well, and then not actually get whatever we were supposed to get done, finished for school. But yeah, no, Clippy. Clippy's great. Go and change your profile picture to a Clippy. If you don't have a profile picture, definitely do it, just as like a sort of protest against all these big companies that keep screwing everything up. But like also there are a few governments that I'm not sure about their decisions, coming back to the age restrictions and other things, some of the governments trying to end encryption and whatever. I just take a breath because that's gonna frustrate me. Learning the wizard and the dog, yeah. Oh, it's so long ago, I can't really remember exactly. But yeah, I'm sure there'll be like, if you go online, you can see all the different characters they had that we used to play with. Definitely a lot of fun. Back when tech was interesting instead of oppressive. Like this whole thing, like, what is Microsoft doing at the moment? Nerfing Windows 10. Do you remember when Windows 10 was meant to be the last operating system we were ever meant to have? Are you kidding? Like the laugh. Oh, I just like gonna like scare everyone off with my growling. But yeah, Windows 10 was meant to be the last operating system. Government making mandatory age check. Oh. I mean, I think I'll be all right because YouTube already, Google already has my ID because I've got ads, I've monetized a long time ago and then it sort of came in and out, but they never had to get my details again. Yeah, and then my channel is old enough to pass Australia's. Like, my channel itself is old enough to watch social media stuff. It's just, yeah, I don't know, some of the decisions being made, but Windows 10 in particular, like, it was fine. It's just like Microsoft is coming across as greedy in terms of trying to push everyone onto Windows 11 because Windows 11 has a lot more like spyware type stuff going on. Fairly large YouTuber get done for it in the UK. Oh, what they got hit by age restrictions? Is that what you're talking about? Um, but yeah, I don't like. I think the age restriction in the UK is meant to be lower. And then in America, I think it was going to be like 18 or I don't know. I don't know. And like, how much is it even going to work if people can still VPN, but then they're trying to block VPN? What's age mandatory? So, like age limits to watch social media things or just be on social media. Yeah, okay, yeah. I don't like the internet, they're trying to make the internet not fun. And I don't know, maybe make it more corporate or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, no, the Windows 10 and making people throw out perfectly good hardware because it won't run Windows 11, like, it's really making the case. I'm starting to think maybe for my next computer, I do need to start learning Linux, which I don't want to because I can't be bothered. But yeah, if Windows keeps going the way it is, like I'm on Windows 11 at the moment, I still haven't made the video about how Dell and Alienware sort of stuffed me around, and now, yeah, I am on Windows 11. Oh, yeah, buy my merch. I really need to change that automatic message at some point. Yeah, I just. So I'm on Windows 11, but I managed to wait long enough that I was able to set up a local account from the get-go. I didn't have to make a Windows account first. Can you show me Linux? I'm not doing it anytime soon because hopefully this computer lasts a while. It's like ridiculously overpowered, even more than my last computer. Um, but yeah, you have? That's great. Yeah, no, I'm definitely thinking about it because if Microsoft keeps pushing this, and just like the waste. Some of these big companies will virtue signal about recycling or whatever, but then make decisions like this planned obsolescence bullshit. People should not have to get rid of perfectly good computers. I do think they should be supporting Windows 10, especially when they told people this was the last operating system you would need. So there are people who planned their infrastructure, their digital infrastructure around it, and then Microsoft's like, no, here's Windows 11, and it's worse, and it's going to take all your data, and it's going to harass you, and blah blah blah. Made my last computer, it's running both Windows and Linux. Yeah, yeah, doing what, dual booting? Oh, I got another email come in. Oh, I can't read. I don't know how to read those characters. I'm sorry. The one starting with like the C with a squiggle on the bottom. Oh, okay. I'm gonna need a translator. Hang on, let me get a translator because I gotta make sure this person isn't just spamming. Let me just copy all that. Detect language. Crispy. Okay, it is someone who is needing to be blocked, so we will just get rid of them. Goodbye. Yeah, I don't have any tolerance for that, guys. So if you're going to put inappropriate stuff, I would just block you, even if it's in another language. Google Translate is a thing nowadays, so well done to you. Maybe it's not that bad. Social media sucks. Age mandatory. Well, yeah, because people can use VPNs and there's other things that can be done. Running one off. Oh, okay, different hard drive. There would just be a new alternative to YouTube and social media. I think YouTube at this point is so huge, it's going to be very hard for someone else to take over. Filmic addiction. I used Windows 11 many years without problem. PC is basically from 2014. Yeah, but there's a lot of older computers that are running Windows 10 that Microsoft has for some reason said, no, you can't run Windows 11 on it. I think there might be a way to do it, but there's a bit of risk of instability. And then, of course, Microsoft wants to push their AI. This is not what I thought. Like, these to me are just pattern machines, not real AI. For me, real AI is like actually being sentient, not having these hallucinations and spitting out random stuff that's wrong and being able to work out how many bees are in raspberry or something. I don't know. Keen for something else on YouTube. Yeah, it's just like, there are other video platforms, but YouTube is still dominating and, to run a video service, you do need a lot of infrastructure because you need to have servers and you need to have storage. And so it's not easy for other players to come into the market. And, what's our alternative? Like fucking TikTok. It's bad enough that everyone's trying to copy the TikTok thing, and like here we are vertically. I was just watching last night the old vertical video syndrome video. ChatGPT can create a copy of Photoshop for free, an HTML file in 30 seconds. Yeah. Um, there are some things, but like you also can't entirely trust that what it's spitting out is like accurate and clean and not. To be fair, I got AI to make my resume not amazing, but it's quick and it's actually good. Yeah, TikTok is garbage, yeah. No, so like with the current like AI, with the pattern machines, there are uses for them. I just think calling them AI is not really accurate. Like we there are other things like, when I put directions into my GPS and my GPS automatically calculates where to go. That's kind of AI if we're using it in this modern way. Like it's an artificial thing, trying to find an intelligent route to wherever I'm going. But we don't refer to that as AI. We didn't refer to it as AI back then. It's just like they've decided we're gonna call this AI. And I think the problem is that tech companies want to believe it's what AI is. They're trying so hard, like it's this wishful thinking thing and a marketing term. But to me, it's not what I thought AI should be. Have to prompt it multiple times to get an easily accessible answer. Yeah. Yeah. And so like I know I have a specific idea, but really all they've done is like fed a shit ton of information into these computers, and then the computers find patterns and spit them back out. The computer itself doesn't understand what is going on. It's just finding patterns. So to me, it's not artificially intelligent. It's just a pattern machine. Where are we up to? I don't personally need AI in Windows. Yeah. Yeah. Like they're trying to shove AI into everything and it's not necessary. Learning things. I've used Gemini from Google quite a bit for random stuff. It's actually really useful to get random facts. Yeah, but like, there's one person who like tried to use an AI coding thing and it ended up deleting his whole database. Now, of course, he should have sandboxed the damn thing instead of letting it work on stuff that's actually live and important. But they can go off script because they're just looking for patterns, and then if they think that this is the thing that they need to do, and they're not really thinking, it's just like if the pattern is maybe we should go in that direction, you can get bullshit answers and bad outcomes. And I think because it's been marketed as artificial intelligence, sometimes people believe it and they then they don't check the AI. Like some of these lawyers who have used AIs to come up with things, and then it turns out the cases that the AIs are referencing don't actually exist. There's a lot that can actually go wrong because it can't actually think and it doesn't have any sense of honesty and truth. It's just a pattern machine. There's none of that going on. You can tailor AI to answer in bullet points, and GPT settings helps a bit. Yeah, maybe that'll help someone who uses that, but it doesn't really solve the problems I have with it. Clip what? What are we clipping? What are we clipping? Did I say something decent? I can't remember. See, my brain has already moved on. I use AI in Google search only in daily life. That's the only one that comes up for me because it comes up automatically and I don't know if there's a way to turn it off. So it's just, and then, it uses up all this, like AI in its current form uses up so much energy. And it's just like, we're having enough trouble. People want to do all this renewable stuff. You are going to have to go nuclear to be able to do as much AI as these companies want to cram into everything. Where am I up to? I agree, it's just an updated search engine, not real AI. Yeah. It's no less reliable than Google or trusting studies with replication crisis. You always need to be sanity checking everything in life. Yeah, you do need to check everything, but the thing is, calling it intelligent, there are people who don't know how tech works and they start believing it's actually intelligent and believing that it's giving right answers. At least, if you're Googling things, you can see where the source is coming from, whereas the AI tends to obscure where it's gotten the source from, so maybe it got it from some official science thing, or maybe it got it from some random conspiracy theory blog. The Google one does at least give links to where it got the information from, So you can kind of use that sometimes to figure out and like, do your checking like where is it getting this information? But it's not as clear as if you're just going through the Google results where you can see immediately the source of the information and decide whether or not it's worth your time. So yeah, where am I up to? Had some police friend of a friend show off some data to Chat GPT and got into the live shop. Yes, that whole thing, people are not paying attention. Like to what happens to your data when you input it. I think there are ways to do like more private, but like, is it really private? Because often these AIs are like training off the stuff that you put into them. So dodgy. Thanks for subscribing. Hi, Julian. Oh, thank you. I was a bit late noticing that. Sorry. Sometimes like if I'm live streaming horizontally, it'll come up with a thing and do like and show you your name on screen, but I don't have it. I don't know for mobile how to do it. Where are we up to? What's my qualification? In this case, I'm just rambling. I have, like, I'm not claiming to be a scientist or anything, so do take everything I say with a grain of salt. I have a Bachelor of Music in Composition and Music Production, and I have a Master of Art with Excellence. So I am highly qualified to be a stay-at-home bum. But I just absorb stuff, and I used to be quite into tech. Like, I did get into the mechatronic engineering and medical science degree, but after a few weeks, oh my god, it was so boring. Because they take you right back to basics and you have to go at the speed of everyone else. So they're like, this is a system. It has inputs and outputs. And I'm like, I already built my own little robot things for, like, they were Lego robots, but I still built and programmed them. I don't need this lecture on what inputs and outputs. Oh my god. I couldn't. I just want to play with them. I don't need to go into those boring details. So, yeah. Anyway, so I'm just someone who talks online. This is not like an essay, obviously. I'm not an academic giving you a proper lecture on anything. These are my opinions. So, yeah, take everything I say with a grain of salt. Just the point about it not being genuine AI, just a pattern recognizer and calculate. Oh, that bit for the clipping. Okay, I'll try and remember that for later once YouTube processes this after we're done. But yeah, that is what it is. It's not really artificial intelligence. Like, that's a marketing term, really. Sort of in the way that, like, renewable energy is a bit of a marketing term because when you really dig into it, the resources they have to pull out of the ground and like what happens when your solar panels are all dead and they find it hard to recycle it and then you have to go through that process. Like, it's not just the sun shines and you get energy. There's a lot more that goes into it. And they just say renewable energy and pretend that that's the end of the story. So, like, I'm much more on the nuclear camp because coal and fossil fuels, they are actually like fossil fuels. I think some coal plants, one of the reason it's hard to convert a coal plant into a nuclear plant is because the coal released so much radiation that it's actually above the limits of what you can have for a nuclear plant. And that just is like, why are we not talking about that? But anyway, where am I up to? I'm starting to fall behind on the chat. Sorry, I will try and get to everyone as fast as I can. I do go on these tangents though, so please bear with me. Where am I up to? Oh my god, where am I? Every time I ask ChatGPT, bleh, I tell him to check again immediately. A lot of the time he corrects it. Like, that is wild that it gives you a wrong answer and then you say, hey, maybe that's not right. And then it comes back and is like, you're right, I fucked up. Like, what? We should be alright for power. Just create major power plants on the moon. I did hear they want to send a reactor up there. I'm like, yeah, okay, it makes sense. Makes sense for the moon. But does anyone want to live on the moon? I don't want to live on the moon. Earth is hostile enough as it is, but that's where we evolved to survive. I certainly don't want to go to Mars. Mars is not life-friendly in its current state. Maybe one day when they terraform it, but not right now. Let the explorers go up there, have a terrible time, die off, and then eventually they'll figure out how to live in these places. But I'm quite happy here on the ground where there's, like, breathable oxygen. Oh my goodness, where are we up to? Try using AI to code them, you realize how good it is. No, I'm not into AI. And you have to be careful, and because I don't have the expertise to know if the code is accurate, I'm not going to know if there's some fatal error in there or if it's doing something shady that I don't want it to do, so I'm not even going to touch that. Feel like you should never fully put your trust in anything. Yeah. Yeah. Question everything. Take everything with a grain of salt. Use your brain. Don't outsource your brain to an AI. Especially don't do that. The random conspiracy blogs will be more correct. In 2025, we had a Supreme Court judge tell us she couldn't explain what a woman is. Oh dear. No, I think the internet, this is a little bit different, but Sabine Hofer, I don't know how to pronounce her name. She's that really grumpy physicist. She's great. I fucking love her. But one of the things that she mentioned is with all these AI things, I think it was her, with all these AI things, scientific papers already had an issue with like fake papers because there's so much pressure on scientists to publish, to get paid instead of just publishing them for good work, quality. A lot of universities and funding relies on them doing quantity. So there was already that pressure to just put out papers as much as you can, get your name in as many studies as possible so that you get your, you get more prestige. But now with AI, you're getting AI generated articles. And so it's getting harder to do science because you have to go through and get rid of all the bullshit that's just AI garbage. And then the things that are referencing AI garbage. And so I think science is going to have a real problem with all this AI crap. It's really unfortunate. I think we are going to, so there will still be some good science being done, but I think we're going to end up with some very tricky science. I know that's a bit different to what you were saying, but some real concerns. We've got some laughter. I can't remember because I'm so far behind on the chat. AI helps me fetch notes from the references I provide based on syllabus. Okay, look, with AI, right? This happens with just about any technology, okay? First you have no one knows about it, then there's hype, and then it gets into too many things, it's being used too much, and then the hype dies down, but it doesn't go back to zero, it goes back to what's actually useful. So I'm not saying that all AI is useless, but I'm saying our current state of AI is very much the hype part of the cycle, the tech cycle, and eventually it'll settle down and we'll figure out what it's actually good for, hopefully, and then we'll have sensible, what we're currently calling AI. So that's just like, what I'm against is the current state of what we're calling AI. It's hype. It doesn't need to be pushed into everything. There's like memes from plumbers, can AI unblock your drain? No, you still need a plumber. So why are companies trying to force that into plumbing? It needs to be used with any technology. It needs to be used for the right thing. It can't just be weaseled into everything because someone's trying to make money, So yeah, that's the thing. If AI is actually helping you for the thing you're doing and you're not having too many of these issues where it hallucinates or does something it's not supposed to do and destroys your entire project, cool. You may have found the sweet spot. But most of the world right now, and the tech bros in particular, they're all in the hype part of the cycle. So that's an important thing to remember. We need to make deep underground nuclear plants that are closed loop. Yeah, I don't know so much about deep underground because actually modern nuclear plants and even power plants in the past, few decades are so much safer. And like the whole Chernobyl thing, that was a terrible design. And they were screwing around, doing dumb things they shouldn't have been doing. Like, there was a lot that caused that to happen. And when you look at it, nuclear has one of the lowest death rates of anything, and is actually quite safe. Like, there's a lot of it going on and hardly any disasters. But, people fall off rooftops and hurt themselves trying to install solar all the time. And there's just, perspective that we don't hear about. The one thing about the nuclear industry is it's terrible at marketing itself. Fucking terrible at marketing. Because they're trying to be too proper and they're trying to be too scientific while their competition is full of bullshit marketing and not telling people about what's actually going on. Whereas the nuclear industry has to be like, hey, here are all the things and all the management things we are doing and there's so many restrictions on them. But solar cowboys can just go and do whatever they want, Smash? Trolling 101. Okay. Yourself and only yourself. Where are we up to? Oh, no, like, you never fully put your trust into anything, but you have to have like some room for trust because you can't just be paranoid about everything all the time. So nuance in everything, guys. Nuance is a big thing for me on this channel. Where am I? Film or condition? Also, finding people by photo. It's sometimes a very useful tool. If you have to, yeah. Look, there's a balance in everything. You know, like with the nuclear thing, you can use it to power cities. Or you can bomb people. Like, that's an extreme one. You can have one that elevates people from poverty because when you have an abundance of energy, a lot of things become very cheap and you can get a lot done. But on the flip side, you can kill everyone with nuclear. Do you know what I mean? Technology, like even with social media, right? I can connect with you guys. We can have an entertaining time. I talk about my mental health. Apparently, that helps people to know that they're not alone and, blah, blah, blah. But on the other hand, you have people getting addicted to social media, being bullied on social media. Like, there's a lot of bad things about social media. With every technology, pretty much, there are good uses and there are shit uses. And as humans, we suck at trying to make sure it's all good uses. We do end up doing a lot of the things that we probably shouldn't be doing. Where am I up to with this chat? Finding people. Okay, here we go. I thought you play music. Maybe I should connect you to my musical friends. Muriel, if you want to learn DJing or just getting. Oh yeah, no, I'm not really into the DJ thing. I do my own music. I'll chuck it in the chat. Music, so you can listen to my music. Oh, I just saw. Yeah, if you have to go, don't worry. Like, there will be replays of this. But thank you for joining me as long as you can. I'll just get back to where I was up to. And I do have a gig on October 12 at Crowbar. I'm on at like 5 p.m. doing my solo music. Gonna color my hair and stuff, hopefully, and just try and make the most of it. Sorry, off topic. No, feel free to go off topic, by the way. If you want to chuck something in the chat, as long as it's not inappropriate, let's go for it. Because this is a random stream, I had no particular... Mars has too many alien monsters. Mars doesn't have enough oxygen and it's got too much radiation and dust, toxic dust. Sabina's... Look, try and not, I think you're trying to say that about her in a judgmental way, but like, you disagree with her, and don't attack people's religion, especially if you have your own religion and you're very protective of it. I'm not a fan of religion, but you should judge people more on like what they say and what their arguments are, not on like inherent characteristics about them. Yeah. So, I'll say that about that. If you think about it, we are the aliens if we go to Mars. Yep, good point. The pressure comes from grant allocation. Yeah. Like, it's a pressure to perform in these scientific fields. You have to just publish. And, the more you publish, the more grants you can get. But, like, one thing that Sabine has pointed out is, some of this stuff, like these giant accelerators they keep building under Europe, and then they don't find what they're looking for, and their solution is just to build a bigger accelerator. And it's like, hey, at some point you have to stop. At some point you have to be like, maybe these particles that we're looking for don't actually exist. Maybe we've fucked up somewhere. Instead of just spending billions and billions of dollars, they could be doing it on something that they know actually works and is helpful to humanity. That's not to say that all research that's useless is actually useless, because sometimes something seems useless and then we find a use for it. But yeah, I'm kind of with her on like some of the things going on in physics do sound sus to me. I didn't study physics, but I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, hi, Trait. Buy the rumor, sell the news. We are in the bubble. Yes. It's all about selling and like buying people, getting eyeballs and advertising money. Technology like knife, it's up to you how you got it. Yes! You can use a knife to chop things and make dinner, or you can use a knife to hurt people. I got the point. Blue-collar jobs, maybe not, but a majority of jobs, purpose of AI is to assist and not replace. Yeah, that's how it should be. I mean, there are a few things where AI, automation can help with a lot of stuff, but there's a lot of stuff that it can't quite do. Where am I from? I'm from Sydney, Australia. Aussie. Where are all my Aussies at? Good evening. It's midday, so I guess I should say g'day. G'day, mate. Nuclear energy is recently renewable. Nuclear energy, the thing about, like, Nuclear waste is its only waste because we're not using it. Modern reactors, there are reactors that can recycle the waste. So like it's actually not waste then anymore. I think was it breeder reactors? I can't remember. But yeah, so like nuclear energy to me, it strikes me as cleaner than a lot of what we're calling renewable energy or green energy. Because like, with all the wind turbines, apparently they can't recycle a lot of the stuff that it's made out of. And so then, in Europe, they've chopped them up into pieces and tried to make kids' playgrounds out of them and weird stuff like that. Where like nuclear energy, the nuclear industry is like the only one that seems to take accountability for every drop of waste it produces. And like the waste is usually like, some gloves that had a bit of radiation on them and they've got to chuck them in a container. The really strong nuclear waste, as I understand it, because it's strong and it's giving out a lot of radiation, it gives out all the radiation at once and then it drops off really quickly. The stuff that lasts the longest is the slow going radiation that takes forever to get over releasing radioactive particles. And so it's like, contaminated gloves rather than the actual radioactive waste like that you think is in the core that you can reuse. Um, yeah, if you ever need a job, voice acting is one for you. I did do some voice acting. I was the demon voices on The Possessed. Where is that? Yeah, it's somewhere on my shelf. Oh, there it is. I did some demon voices in this Aussie production. It was kind of a random thing. Because I had posted on Gumtree looking for a band and said I was a metal singer. And then this guy who was doing the sound for that was just like, hey, we're looking for some metal vocalists to do demonic voices. And like, there's effects on it and it's overlaid with different things. So unless you know my voice really well, you might not be able to tell that it's me mixed in there. But I did some of the demonic voices to make those sound effects, and you can see in the roll credits, my name actually comes up. So I have done a bit of voice acting. I've also done scare acting. A bit tired for it now, but yeah, because I can do the whole like kind of shit. Yeah. So maybe not the voice acting you were thinking of, but that's what I'm interested in. Regular voice acting, I don't think I could do. I'm not very good at normal acting. I can only do like scare acting. Yeah, so there's my music, Fade merch. I need to change that message. Scott Petrie, in the 70s, we had a nuclear plant in Colorado that used thorium instead of uranium. Yeah, like the America did a lot of like interesting experimentation back in the day, and like the molten salt reactors. And it's a real shame that we didn't have a sort of nuclear renaissance like what I was led to believe as a child would happen. But yeah, no, I think like, Chernobyl really got in there, and like the whole thing about the bombing of Japan, there's a lot of, image problems with nuclear, which is really unfortunate because, all this stuff about climate change now, we could have avoided it if people hadn't been scared of the science. Like, yes, you do have to control how nuclear is done, but when like, it's so well regulated these days that it's actually, I wish Australia would get on board. I wish it wasn't just the far right crazies who were talking about it, and I wish the left would join in and just be like, yes, this is a good, the rest of the world is doing it and we're falling behind and we have so much of our own uranium. It's such a pain. I have no idea what thorium is. Thorium, so like, uranium is the thing that you usually use in a nuclear plant, but you can create energy from other elements. And I think we even have a lot of thorium here in Australia as well. We have so much of this stuff and we're not using it, and we send it overseas. Like, one of the things about us having it, if we dug it up and refined it here, we save on petrol. We don't have to import all this stuff from China to make solar panels. We could just make the nuclear stuff here. And it lasts so long. Why? Why? People are getting grants for things. We have a dad joke, guys. I know I'm a bit late to see it in the chat, but judging by inherent characteristics is one of the most sane and I am judging you based on the things that you have written there. Look, There is, evolutionarily speaking, stereotyping, there is a role for it in our evolution because if you think about when we were trying to survive, especially in the wild, anything could kill you at any moment. So you needed to make a snap judgment and be like, is this thing or this person a threat? Because it was inherent for it, like it was important for our survival. But we're now in a different civilization. And so I know why people still have that reaction that if someone isn't part of my tribe, they're a risk. But our life, one of the successes of humans as a species is our ability to get past that and work together and get past each other's differences and find commonalities and work together as a species. Because no other species has managed to take over the planet the way we have, except ants. But they haven't built much that you can see. They're all underground. It's a bit of a special case. But they do work together in their own things, at least. The most successful ant colonies seem to be the ones that can have multiple queens, though. So, anyway, not the greatest comparison. But, yeah, like, no other species has achieved what we have, and we've done it by working together and getting past those kinds of differences. So I can see, like, you're kind of going back to a more primitive kind of thing and being like, oh, this person is horrible because they're part of such and such group. But people are different within groups. So yeah, stereotyping can tell you a little bit about people, but it's not the thing that, like, you can't just rely on that. You have to see past it and be like, okay, they could be like that, but let's actually have a look at what's going on here. We got some more laughing. Grant Gula, nuclear power plant fueled by thorium. Yeah, sorry, I'm a bit slow with the chat. Why is there so much chat today? This is not how streams usually go for me, and anytime it does, I'm like overwhelmed, and I don't know how other YouTubers do stuff. What about the rods in 235? I need more context to understand that comment. Can you show us if you still do the voices? Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the possessed. It was good. It was fun with scare acting, the scare maze. Yeah, like, I think we did the Yorkai one together. And then a couple years later, I did the Rain Dead. And we were like these distorted monsters or whatever. Relays on... What? I'm not sorry. I need a bit more context because I'm jumping around between things. If you're referencing something I've said, by the time I get back to your comments, I might not know what you're talking about. Micronuclear is a possibility. Much more easy. Oh, well, there are like, what do they call it? SMRs. I forget what that stands for. Something modular reactors. Once they can get them being built and then they can build them at scale, it'll bring the cost of nuclear down. Because one of the things that makes nuclear so expensive is trying to build a brand new thing from scratch instead of using, easily accessible parts, things that are already ready-made. Like if they could turn it into more of a production line with modular design, then you could actually get more, get the price down and all that. And yeah, like it's just this is why it's such a shame we didn't get onto nuclear as a species, more solidly earlier, because we could have had supply chains ready and then it wouldn't be this big deal every time we want to build a reactor. Assault. Oh, okay, you're talking about the molten salt, maybe. Non-believers from Christian households stand at 58%, but Muslim households stand at 0.1%. Why so? I think that's complicated, and cultural, and situation, like, it really, there's a lot of complicated stuff when it's like, why do people stay religious in some places and not others? I think if I try and answer that question, we're never going to get to the rest of the comments, so sorry, I'm going to have to pass that one by. But I think a lot of things with religion are a lot more complex than anyone wants to really admit. I hate to bring this up because it may end up with more in the chat that I can't really address. But for example, the whole Israel versus Palestine thing, so much more complex than anyone talks about on TV, than any protesters ever bring up. There's so much behind that. And it's just like, it's such a shame that no one is really digging deep or like, yeah, anyway. Replacement for gas. The thing about, by gas, if you're American, you might mean petrol, or fuel. And like, for example, jet fuel, it would be very hard to do with batteries. And so one of the things that might be possible, this is going to take a while. Sorry about all the other comments. I will try and get to them, but this is an interesting thing I have to say, right? With nuclear, like, at the moment with all these electric vehicles, it is going to be hard to power them on what we're currently calling renewables. I think we will need nuclear if everything is going to be electrified. But in the case of aeroplanes in particular, where you need lightweight, the amount of energy that you can contain in fuel instead of a battery, it's so much better. Batteries are so heavy for the power that they produce. Fuel is actually more efficient in terms of weight, and weight is very important for flying in the sky, where weight will mean you crash. So one of the interesting things you can do, potentially, if you had unlimited energy, you would be able to take carbon dioxide from the air, turn it into fuel, and then when it's burned, you're not putting any extra carbon dioxide into the air. If we could get that happening, that would be fucking amazing, like, you know, synthetic fuels in that sense. And then you could potentially drive your gas car and still be carbon neutral in that sense, if we had unlimited power, which would have to be provided nuclear. It's pretty much as far as I can see as a layperson, not a scientist. It's the only way I can really see it happening. Now, is it necessarily good to have cars still using fuel, given that they can give off, you know, contaminants and all that? I'm not sure. But the electric thing, like, electric cars have limitations, and then there's the issue of batteries, and if you get into a crash, you can easily fix a petrol car. But if you dent that battery, you cannot trust that battery ever again. It could go off at any moment. It is dangerous. Whereas a fuel car, yes, it could explode in the same way, but at least you can put the fire out more easily than a lithium battery. Holy shit. Okay, sorry. I'm trying to summarize. To read the full comment. Have you seen how many comments I'm trying to read? And if you keep going down this track, I will have to ban you just for my own sanity, because I think you are very rigid in your views, and you're starting to get into that, like, being unfair to people. And there's only so much tolerance I have for that. I'm sorry. If you don't want to tolerate other people, I don't have to tolerate you, and it's my channel. I can do what I want. Hot rock. Hot rock? What are we talking about? Thorium is much safer because its radioactive life is exponentially shorter. Yeah, I think the main concern with thorium is people don't want nuclear proliferation in terms of weapons, and I think thorium might be easier to turn into plutonium, or I can't remember exactly how it goes. There was some concern about that, or maybe like the version of uranium that can be used in nuclear bombs. I think that's one of people's anxieties, and it's unfortunate, because, you know, it's that same thing of, like, the potential for a technology to do good versus bad. Where are we up to? We haven't gone past it. Chinatown in New York City exists. Okay, you are one of those Christian people. Hang on, let me just see what other comments you've left so I can catch up. I don't know if you call me primitive. Hey, don't get upset about being called primitive. It's not like a judgment thing. You're the one who thinks primitives are bad, and so you're internalizing that. It's funny, like dictatorship. I haven't said anything about democracy, really. Everyone's conservative about what they know best. You're a problem. Look, I don't know why you're still here if you're not enjoying the stream. If you're not enjoying the stream, you're just here to argue and say, like, actually racist things at this point. Because, like, Chinatown, I don't know about New York City, but we have Chinatown here in Australia, and there's some good food there. And then, you know, you're talking about blacks, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what are you on about? And so I'm just not into that. Just read my comment. Hey, look, I'm trying to get... No, I'm just going to ban this person. I'm done with you. Thank you very much, but I am done with you. I don't have patience for that. You know, usually it's the sexual comments that I'm not into, but, like, these sort of the Christian over-the-top extremists, I don't like extremists of any kind, really, basically. I try and be tolerant as far as I can go, but there's a point where, like, this person's trying to take over my stream and accuse me of shit and not look at their own stuff. So they're just not gonna they can keep trying to, I think they might try and keep typing stuff into the chat, but no one's going to be able to see it. You were typing to yourself the way YouTube bans work, you're shadow banned. Anyway, so now we can get on with better chat. I have a master's in science. Oh, sorry, Meliodas, because your comments are a bit disjointed, I can't remember exactly what, like, I don't know if you're responding to something, like, have I said something wrong? I need more context to know. Sorry. The tribe mentality is more in Sydney than Melbourne. I've noticed that people here are very welcoming. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I haven't been to Melbourne. And I don't get around in Sydney. I think some parts of Sydney are better than others. But actually, like, one thing that's interesting, having my dog, I live in a conservative area of Sydney, and I do look like a nutcase some of the time. And actually, people have been really nice to me and kind of accepting in a way that I've, like, stereotypically this part of Sydney is not known for, and they've been the butt of jokes. Like, there was the Chaser, when the Chasers War and everything was a thing. And I think this must have been in the years after September 11, and there was a lot of, like, Islamic anxiety going on. And they came along and, like, were telling people they were going to build a mosque in the middle of Mossman. That was fucking hilarious. People were so intolerant. But so it sort of depends. Like, people are more tolerant about certain things than other things. But I think we've also moved on from there. And, we didn't have some huge, like, Australia going up in bombs. So people have settled down a bit. But yeah, tribe mentality. I just don't get out enough. Hot rock kill you slowly? What? In Memphis, USA, love to visit down under. Yeah, just watch out for the drop bears when you come here. Just in New York. Oh, kimono. The kimono? Yeah, that was fun. And I didn't even have to put the wig on because my hair at the time was like really long and straight. Um, yeah, and that was good fun. Um, and like because I was able to jump from role to role. When I was doing the introduction and talking to them, there's like, you always say, "Irashaimase." I had a few Japanese groups come on through, and whenever I said that with my accent kind of spot on, they'd think I was Japanese and then get confused when I started speaking in English for the rest of the thing. I enjoyed that. And like that's why I got the Japanese myths, because I did used to read a lot. Like, I've still got some on the shelf, but yeah, there's a lot of nostalgia for me with all the yokai and so on. When you grow up, you're gonna be when I grow up, okay, do you want to guess how old I am? Because what do you mean when I grow up? I'm ancient. I'm a vampire at this point. With death at the end, have fun. What? How you power a jet with lead shield? And I said, no, I'm not talking about putting nuclear generators onto a plane. You're not going to be able to fly. It's going to be too heavy. I'm talking about using nuclear power to create jet fuel from the carbon dioxide in the air. And then you just use jet fuel like normal jet fuel. You don't need to put a nuclear reactor on a plane. That's um yeah, so you may have misunderstood what I was talking about there. And so the chat keeps moving every time I try and read it properly. Yeah, so I think Melodious, you may have misunderstood what I was saying about nuclear solutions to, yeah, carbon neutral jet fuel. Still late, I gotta give it some time. Hey, how are you? I can't read that. Sorry. Am I a feminist? What type of feminism are we talking about? I like that I can vote. I like that I can do whatever I need to do, but feminism has gotten weird. There are a few different branches of feminism, and I've also had like a tricky relationship with feminism because, like, my school, I went to an all-girls school, but it was Catholic. And so they would do like female empowerment stuff, but then they still made me watch Clueless, which is like, are you assuming that because I'm a chick, I'm gonna like that? And so feminism is a complicated thing. Like, what do you mean by feminist? Because I have mixed feelings. Like, I like being able to do whatever I want to do within my limits. But yeah, there are aspects of feminism that have gone way too far. And it's like, calm down. With some of these activism things, once they achieve their goal, they don't know what to do with themselves, so then they keep pushing beyond what we were like going for. And it's like, so. The nuke missile that was supposed to kill everyone from the 90s. What? We've got someone talking about underwear, so I'll just. Oh, sorry. Let me just make sure I get the right person. I'm gonna ban the underwear person. Sorry. Because I am not sitting around for that. Huh? When everyone is nutty in some way or form. By the way, thank you for getting my name right. Oh, good. I worry about pronouncing things wrong. I lived in Sydney a few years ago, but now it looks like it's changed a bit. Mossman. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been out enough and like, things. I think the pandemic changed a few things, but yeah, I don't get out and about much. Like, I'll go to the city maybe, but not much further. No way? What? What's amazing? I'm young? I'm not young. I'm a vampire. Oh, were we guessing how old I am? Hang on, I can do a sticker thing. Let me just hang on. Q&R. How old do you think I am? And then you guys can put your answers in and we'll see. And then I'll tell you how old I am. If you know how old I am, don't spoil it for everyone. Yeah, if you're on mobile and you can see the sticker, guess how old I am. But I'm a vampire. Do you believe that? I'm not young. I'm not young. I'm not young. How's my day going? It's chaotic. Orlando, Florida. Florida! Is that where Dexter was? I haven't watched any of the new Dexter. What? How do we do it? Is that in reference to the putting jet fuel on planes? So you use the energy from nuclear technology, you suck in the carbon dioxide. I think there are processes that you can use carbon dioxide, turn it into fuel. There'll be technical stuff, but one of the reasons we don't do it is because it takes up so much energy. But if you had unlimited energy from nuclear, you could take that carbon dioxide, turn it into jet fuel, so it functionally looks exactly the same as the fuel we get out of the ground, maybe a bit cleaner, but it's basically the same chemical. Chuck that on a plane, exactly the same as the jet fuel we're using now, but it's carbon neutral. There you go, done. Because it's using nuclear instead of using things that are either inefficient like renewables or polluting like coal. Yeah, so where are we? How's your day? Oh, where are we up to? Cult leader! Yes, I have a Patreon and I styled it as a cult. Why not? Why not? Because I'm crazy and cult leaders are crazy, so it makes sense, right? I'm still keen on putting nuclear reactors on planes. It sounds hectic. I think people have thought about it, but the trouble is if it crashed, you would want that to be so well shielded, in which case trying to get that off the ground, difficult. Might be a bit different thing if you had it in space. Nuclear reactors in space, you just have to get it there first. But then, yeah, and like I'm pretty sure, do we have nuclear stuff? Actually, I don't know. But I think they've thought about that. It's just like if the spaceship crashes, not good for us on the ground. Not an evil cult, right? Evil is a point of view. Star Wars is pro-Jedi, anti-Sith propaganda, right? Do you like to smoke weed? I don't do any drugs. I can't tolerate it. I'm just naturally this insane. I actually have diagnosed mental illness, so I actually am crazy. I don't need any kind of drugs. Caffeine, sugar sometimes, which I need to not do because I think it gives me migraines. And chocolate, dark chocolate. If I have too much dark chocolate, I get spacey. That's as far as I go. Hello, Litomi? Love the answer. Oh, the feminist answer. I feel like you need to be a little feminist and whatever that male one is, not to be too much. Yeah, balanced. Like, I think like if we just called it equalist or something, something like that. Like there must be a better word. But I understand like back in the day when women had no rights, it made sense to call it feminism. But now society is like there are problems in society, but it's nowhere near what it used to be like, at least in Australia and Western society, things have gotten better. So do we still need the term feminism? Can we call it something else that's, more about just being not shit people? I think Jim Jeffries one was like, try not to be a cunt. Sorry. Yeah, like, just try not to be a shithead. Try, because none of us are perfect, but, just do the best you can and try to be nice to people. Can't we just have that as a philosophy? Sorry. How do we pull from the air? Look, I can't do a full thing here today. This is a random live stream. I don't have notes prepared, so I'm sorry. There are ways, like, there are people working on different types of carbon capture, and then there are processes to turn that into fuel. It has been done. I can't remember by who. This is not an academic lecture, okay? Just that is a possibility, using nuclear so that we can still have jet fuel, but it's created by a cleaner process, in summary. I only have time for summaries here. And take everything I say with a grain of salt, because I'm a random on the internet. You don't know anything about me, really, except what I've told you. Do not trust me. Don't trust anyone completely. This is what we were talking about earlier. Yeah, so everything with a grain of salt, right? Okay. I could be talking complete bullshit and maybe sound convincing. Make sure you check. Don't just believe everything I say, okay? The pandemic made people weird. People are always on their phones now. No one's yeah. Yeah. Even my parents are on their phones more than me, which is kind of a weird thing. My dog is getting a little bit. We've gone for an hour and a half and he's starting to want lunch. So I will have to wrap this up soon, but I'm catching up to the chat, I think. Okay, so we've got guesses on my age, 26 to 28. We've got 34, we've got 30, 37. How though? Thanks for subscribing, Bam Bam. Welcome to my insane channel. And then hang on, I'll just get through where are all the different guesses of my age. 32. Okay, you guys are doing all right. Maybe I gave you too much of a hint telling you that I'm a vampire. No, I just turned 37. So the winner is Bam Bam. Yeah, Dave. No, you're off by 10 years. I'm old. Sorry. Here is my dog. He is the true star of my channel. Look at him. I didn't ask him to do that. He's just doing that by himself. Yes? Because you want my attention? You want me to stop talking to the internet? Oh, really? Oh my god! He has a whole playlist, by the way. Yes, he has his whole playlist so you can watch all his videos. Yes. Sorry, I just need to put the phone down so I can just get on to the last chat. I am going to have to go very soon because he is cross. He is cross. Come on, look at him. Yes. Look over here. Look over here. Yes! You're such a good boy. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. He's a bit tired today. Okay, let me just quickly go through. I've been saying can't stop thinking about energy. What really is energy? What do we really know about anything? Oh, that's too philosophical. Too philosophical for this. I'm amazed how you can stay on topic. I jump around a lot though. But Jim Jeffries, if you watch one of his comedy skits, what I love is he has an overarching story, but he'll go on a gazillion tangents and then manage to bring it back to the story. I haven't watched one of his specials in a long time, but like Intolerant was probably the last one I watched. And like the overarching thing is about how he's lactose intolerant. That's actually how I found out I was lactose intolerant, was watching his thing. But he goes on all these tangents, keeps bringing it back. Fucking love it. I wish I could be that on topic. Where are we? So, glasses. Yeah, got new glasses. That was at the beginning of the stream. Sorry, I'm not going to do it again. USA did in 1960, probably. Nuclear Death Star. Sorry, I need to do that. Give that justice. Nuclear Death Star! Corny faces. Yeah, I'm a nutcase. And I don't care about presenting a particular way, so, yeah. The more I watch you, the more I'm amazed. Oh, thank you. Yeah, one of the things, so I'm going to color my hair again, and then people are going to think that I'm some kind of vegan whatever, which is kind of hilarious, but I color my hair because I like coloring my hair, not because I'm trying to make some kind of a statement, but I haven't done it in a long while, in part because for a while there, everyone just assumed that you colored your hair to become another gender, and I'm too old to understand. Like, I'm trying not to upset people, but I'm too old to... It's hard for my brain to get around that, and so like I did get asked if I identify as a female on the weekend, and I wasn't sure how to answer because I don't care if you call me the wrong thing. No one even knows how to pronounce my name, and you want me to choose a gender? How do you pronounce your name is a question I've had my entire life, and not even my mum uses the Japanese. It sounds too formal in Japanese, so I don't care. As long as I know what to respond to, we're good. So, yeah, but it's funny, when I color my hair, people get different ideas, and I guess, like, I probably do come across as, like, that, because I'm a musician as well, very left-wing circles. I'm more of a centrist or indifferent. I don't care. I'm too mentally ill to care about a lot of stuff properly. Thank you for talking to me, but it's... Huh? Not, up? I'm sorry. I'm not sure what that means. Growing up people to just be good. Yes! Yes! Be nice to each other! Stop being so horrible! Let's just all get along! Maybe just grew back at them, yeah. Well, yeah? Awesome, you look amazing at your age. Oh, yeah, like, I look younger, I think because I'm half Japanese, and, you know, Asian people tend to look young until they hit, like, 60, and then suddenly they age, which is... That's my theory anyway! And so because I'm half Asian, half, like, miscellaneous white, I look white, but I have that Asian genes and it throws people off, so they can't actually figure out how old I am, and then I don't act like a normal adult, so, yeah, I come across as immature. Yeah, puppy! He's getting desexed tomorrow, poor baby. Um, New ones really love your energy. Lactose intolerant, yes. Lactase is the best thing ever. I'm sorry, I'm almost done. I've almost caught up with chat. You do, who cares what? Oh, you do you. Who cares what others think about your hair? Yeah, yeah. Like it's just like when with my last band, we were called Rainbow Death Ray, and at the time I was just going for something feminine but not too feminine, and it didn't, because I'm an idiot. It didn't occur to me that people would think we were heaps lesbian or whatever. Like someone thought we were lesbian death metal, but we weren't lesbians and we weren't death metal. We were like electronic metal. So I don't know. They were completely wrong about everything. We did have like a mix of LGBT stuff in the band, but that's not what the band was about. It was just me being an idiot. And I had colored hair. And then one day, like, we used to do merch differently. So we'd have like a tub of lollies and you could just give us a donation and take some lollies. And, this one chick comes up to me and is like, oh, like the lollies, they have bugs in them. And I was just like, oh yeah, in some countries bugs are a delicacy. And she's like, oh, so you're not vegan. And it was the weirdest interaction because I was not expecting it. Ah! Yeah, I can't, like, I'm just, like, I'm not clicked in with enough of this stuff, so they keep catching me by surprise, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm supposed to respond to anything. I'm not, yeah, I just, just be nice to each other. As people have weird quirks, okay, but as long as you don't get mad at me for doing something wrong because I don't understand your worldview, we're good, we're good. Like, you can do you, I'll do me, kind of thing. Japanese, yeah, half Japanese, half Japanese. JV8 is not just carbon. I'm sorry, you've lost me, Melodious. Stay amazing, love your video. You made my night. Find some good content in your hilarious video. Oh, thank you. Like this. By Grandpa's Hammer, what a savings! Yes, we have a. That is an epic reference. Epic reference. Never give up. Never surrender. Yes. Oh, I'm so glad. I love that Galaxy Quest. Fuck yes. Good night. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, my channel is chaos, by the way. Absolute chaos. Said hi. Bam, laughing. Yes, be nice. Jet fuel. Jet fuel can't melt steel beams or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a 9/11 conspiracy theorist. I just like, sometimes if I hear something, my brain will automatically go off. Yes, Galaxy Quest. My brain will just automatically go off and say something. So like when people say good times, there was a radio ad that was like, it was an ad for radio that was like, good times, great classic hits. So now anytime anyone says good times, my brain goes, great classic hits, even though like I'm brainwashed, basically is what I'm saying. And anytime my brother who's disabled, he watches a lot of train videos. And now when I go past a train in Sydney, my brain is automatically like, that's a V-set. Help me. Hi, the Asylum Beyond the Dead. Oh, that's an exciting name. Anyway, my dog is Cross. Oh, he's fallen asleep. But I am going to have to, now that I've caught up with the chat, I should really get him his lunch, poor baby. And I should get myself some lunch because, yeah, I want to be the very best. Done it like no one ever was. Banana. Thank you, Smile. Yeah. Thanks everyone for joining me because like I wasn't sure what I was going to do if no one showed up. So yeah, when you chuck things in the chat, it gives me stuff to ramble about. Yeah, I'll go feed him. He is very important. I will get him to say goodbye to you if you like. Hey, Triton, you are such a good boy. Yeah, you wanna hop up? You wanna hop up? Yes. Look over here. Yes, good boy. You wanna read that? And you say goodbye. Ready? Bark. Oh, we'll take it. We'll take it. We'll take it. He's been so patient. All right. See you guys later. Yeah, lunch. Yeah, no, it's I'm in Sydney, Australia. It's 1 p.m. He's doing the thing. He wants to go. So we will say bye-bye. See you next time. I don't know when I'm going to stream because I'm chaos. It'll just pop up. Yeah, thank you. Happy birthday. Thank you. Yes, I am old now. And he's like, oh, you really still talking? Sorry, I'm going to go. We're going to go. Bye. Bye.